Hi, how are you? We've got a whole bunch of news to cover today. We're going to start with Ukraine, and Zelensky says he will not give any land to the Russians, and that giving them that land would be a springboard into the new war, which is incredibly true and incredibly based. Don't give a fucking inch to that Russian piece of shit bald loser. Next thing we're going to cover is Zoran Mamdani. He dropped a scathing campaign ad against CUOMO where he accuses CUOMO of being on the Epstein list. And I buy it. I totally believe it. We already know that Andrew Cuomo is a fucking pervert and a sex pest, and he's buddy-buddy with Donald Trump. But it gets even further than that. It turns out that Cuomo's one of his top financiers, Farkas, was also Jeffrey Epstein's financier, which is a little bit strange and a little bit concerning. And then we've got Trump went on, I believe, MSNBC. Thank you for the $5. Trump went on MSNBC and did this phone call interview about his favorability rating and about gerrymandering, and he actually loses his shit going, no, I have a 93% approval rating. No, you're wrong. Like, I actually think that this is one of the few things where Trump isn't lying, right? Trump actually thinks he has a 78% approval rating among Americans and a 98 approval rating among Republicans. I actually think he's that fucking delusional. Those numbers are unheard of, by the way, except for FDR. So yeah, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to dive into it. I know I'm losing frames right now, but bite the bullet and accept it. I have a $4 setup. I'm Chris Valenti. If you want to support this channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. If you want to support me financially, please do. You can become a patron on Patreon. Donate $1, $2, $5 a month. Huge shout out to the patrons. You keep this channel going. You could also become a member on YouTube for $5. You can get access to a whole bunch of cool emotes. Huge shout out to the members. You could buy merch down below, like that Democratic Socialist poster. Please let me know if that poster is too expensive because it's not really selling compared to the other stuff. And then you could use a 40% off discount for Ground News, and you can hit the thanks button to send me a tip. But other than that, I think we should just dive right the fuck into the video, huh? So we're gonna start off with the Guardian's coverage here. Get the fuck out of my face. Ukraine will not cede land that could be Russian springboard for new war, Zelensky says. Ukrainian leader sees no sign of Russia preparing to cease fire after reports of frontline breach in Donbass. And he's right. Putin has no reason to stop his assault, okay? The way that I look at it is like this. The Russians and the Ukrainians are in a competition of who can hold their blood in the longest. They're both bleeding out. The Russians don't have enough fuel to keep this going. The Ukrainians don't have enough men to keep this going. And if you're in a contest of who can bleed out longer, it's Russia. Russia can bleed out longer than Ukraine can. And that seemingly is what's going to happen. But to Zelensky's point, if you give land, specifically Luhansk, Donetsk, the Zaporizhia regions, Donbass, you give all of that to Putin, it is going to give him time and capability to rearm, reamass, and reassault Ukraine. Let's keep on reading here. Volodymyr Zelensky has said Ukraine could not agree to a Russian proposal to give up more of his country's territory in exchange for a ceasefire because Moscow would use what it gained as a springboard to start a future war. The Ukrainian president said he did not believe that Donald Trump supported Russia's demands, and he expressed hope the U.S. leader would act as an honest mediator when he meets Vladimir Putin in Alaska on Friday. He added there was no sign that Russia was preparing to implement a ceasefire, as reports emerged that small sabotage groups had pierced Ukrainian defenses in the eastern Donbass, advancing about 6 miles in 3 days. Zelensky also warned that Russia was planning new offensive on 3 parts of the front line. I do want to point something out, a little tangent here. 6 miles in 3 days is giving World War I. It's giving you're losing thousands and thousands and thousands of men to take a football field. You know, and I'm not stupid enough to think a football field is 6 miles. Go fuck yourself. But that's not a lot of land. And at least according to Trump, there's fucking thousands of people dying every fucking week. Speaking to journalists in the run-up to the Trump-Putin summit, and a day before a virtual meeting with U.S. and European leaders, Zelensky said he believed Putin wanted to dominate his country because he, quote, does not want a sovereign Ukraine. And he doesn't. Putin doesn't want a sovereign Ukraine. The number one exporter out of Russia is natural gas, okay? And do you know what they have all over Ukraine? Natural gas, specifically in the Donbass, right? In the Donbass region. All Putin is trying to do is prevent him from having a competitor. when it comes to their nation's #1 export, which is natural gas and oil. This is all about money. It all goes back to capitalism. It was therefore dangerous, Zelensky said, for Ukraine to be forced by the U.S. into accepting Russia's demand to take over parts of Donbass it does not control after the Alaska summit. The region sought by Russia amounted to about 90,000 square kilometers of the country. Holy fuck. That is an insane amount of land to just give to a foreign invader. Thank you for becoming a loyalist, Colleen. Jesus Christ. So, in terms of the Russia-Ukraine stuff, the best update we're going to get is on Friday when Trump meets with Putin in Alaska, which I feel like Putin's going to ask for Alaska back. Don't forget, Alaska used to be Russia. We bought it from the Russians. I wouldn't be too surprised if Trump willingly sold Alaska to the fucking Ruskies. Anyway, we're going to move on now to Zoran Mamdani and his campaign ad against Cuomo, where he fucking... Oh, dude, it's great. It's about a minute and a half. We're going to watch it real quick. But, I mean, it is incredible. And there's one thing that I want to say that I want to start sticking around, which is that the whole point of democratic socialism is to get rid of the status quo. That, you know, the Republicans, they do shit, but it's all evil. And the Democrats do nothing. They just want to maintain the status quo. So something that I want to stick is abandon the status quo. You like that? I like that. And Zoran, if you're watching this, take it. Take it, bro. I mean, if there's one thing that New York has been stuck with, it's the Cuomos. It's the status quo. Mario fucking Cuomo, Andrew fucking Cuomo, Chris fucking Cuomo. These goddamn Fredo-ass, fake Italian-ass bitches, vaffanculo. Like, literally, they are a disgrace to my fucking culture. Anyway, let's watch this.
Cuomo resigned in disgrace, and you probably know why.
The governor's office kept
Sorry,
the
that was so
nursing home
loud.
death data secret.
Cuomo aggressively groped an aide.
Inappropriately touched a female state trooper.
Use of state resources for a COVID-19 memoir.
Less well-known
German
is
and
what he spent
Italian.
the last 4 years doing, besides getting trounced in the Democratic primary. In
Period.
2022, Cuomo started Innovation Strategies, LLC, to represent individuals and corporations in a variety of matters.
Keep that in mind, Innovation Strategies, LLC. Okay, this is Cuomo's way of embezzling money.
Definitely not vague. Last year, it raked in more than $500,000. Who paid for Cuomo's services? He refuses to say. But what journalists have been able to piece together is troubling.
You know who paid for Cuomo's services? You know who paid for Cuomo? The same people who paid for Donald Trump's campaign paid for Cuomo's. Why? Because Andrew Cuomo is just a different iteration of Donald Trump. They're both just New York sex pests. That's it.
Revealed that Cuomo advised a cryptocurrency exchange based in the Seychelles as it faced federal investigations. Then in May, Politico reported that Cuomo failed to disclose $2.6 million in stock options to the New York City Conflicts of Interest Board. His excuse? The stocks were technically owned by Innovation Strategies, LLC.
Which Cuomo is the sole proprietor of. This is like if I fucking... Valenti Media LLC is a real company. I'm a small business owner. But this is like if I was accepting hundreds of millions of dollars into Valenti Media LLC and I said, hey, I'm not the one accepting it. I'm an individual. Chris Valenti is an individual. That's a company. Shut the fuck up. It's yours.
Of which he's the sole proprietor. Finally, in June, the New York Times uncovered that Cuomo had worked with his longtime friend Andrew Farkas on a luxury marina project in Puerto Rico.
Anybody else know who Andrew Farkas is? Because you're about to.
Farkas's previous partner on luxury marinas in the Caribbean? Jeffrey Epstein.
Hey, Cuomo, why are you on the Epstein list? Hey, Fredo, why are you on the fucking Epstein list?
Had a finance chair like none other, Andrew Farkas.
That's the thing about Andrew Cuomo. Once you think you found out about all of his scandals, you find out about another, and then another, and then probably another. But if my friend, the disgraced former governor of the
Hey, he's not corrupt, he's just Italian!
state of New York feels that's unfair, Habibi, release your client list.
Oh, and dude, calling him Habibi? Dude, calling a Republican like Andrew Cuomo, I know he's a registered Democrat, but you're a fucking idiot if you think he's a Democrat. Calling a Republican Habibi is like the equivalent of stabbing them, dude. They can't take it. They can't accept it, bro. They like, how dare you speak to me in that language? It's fucking pathetic. Anyway, so, yeah, listen. Sorry for the burp there. Andrew Cuomo is cut from the same cloth as Donald Trump. multi-millionaire, elitist, piece of shit, sex pest from New York. And if you vote for Andrew Cuomo to be the mayor of New York City, stop speaking. Shut the fuck up and go lick a lead paint wall. Verbatim, on God, on Jah. Anyway, now we're going to move on to Trump on the squawk box in MSNBC. Sorry, not MSNBC, on CNBC, where he's just screaming bloody murder about having the best approval rating out of any American president in history, which is complete and total bullshit. But let's watch.
One of those,
I have the best poll numbers I've ever had.
Among
I
Republicans.
have poll numbers where I'm 71%. I have the best poll numbers.
Those are among Republicans. You know you've got.
No. Among Republicans, I'm at 94 and 95%.
First of all, there's two things wrong here. You think your approval rating among all Americans is in the high 70%? That's insane. That's delusional, okay? And now you want to think... Let's move on to the other one. Within the Republican Party, you think your support is at 95%? This is my thing. I don't think Trump is lying, right? Trump lies all the time. I actually think this fat orange fascist truly believes that 78% of the country is in support of him and 95% of his party is. I actually think, and the reason why is because he's surrounded himself with yes men and sycophants. Stephen Miller, Stephen Miller, fucking Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem. All these people do is blow smoke up his ass, and I actually think that he believes this shit.
No, I'm talking about generally. I have the... Let me put it this way. There was a gentleman on Harry Emden yesterday on CNN, and he went crazy over how well Trump was doing. Now,
I fucking hate when he talks in the third person, bro. It is so goddamn weird.
You know, you don't put that on because I think CBS is a shade.
CBS?
Actually, CNN's a shade better than NBC. I think NBC is probably the worst of them all. But if you check CNN tomorrow, watch Harry Emden, and you'll see about the numbers. But that's okay. We have to defend ourselves, Joe.
I know, but there are other... They can cite... Your haters cite polls that have you down in the 30s, Mr. President. And
that's because that's where his polling numbers are.
Fake polls, Joe. I had a lot of fake polls. You also have me in the 70s. I have fake polls.
Republicans. One of those,
I have the best...
Dude, I love at the end there. Look at him. Listen to him. He goes, with Republicans.
I have fake polls.
Republicans.
It's like talking to a fucking brick wall, dog. And this is only one part of it. I got another part of it here. It's fucking embarrassing. Big shout out to Brian Tyler Cohen for this clip here.
Texas. Now we're gonna do mid-year or midterm.
You talk about the fucking midterms? How are you on the news, you fucking dipshit? They're about to start talking about midterms and gerrymandering, like, because you know that the Republicans in Texas are trying to redraw the districts so that there can be a Republican supermajority. And it's gotten to the point where Democrats in Texas, Democrat lawmakers, have fled the fucking state. And in response, the Republican lawmakers in Texas are trying to arrest them and throw them in prison.
Gerrymandering based on that's going to be a quid pro quo or something with in blue states now, Mr. President. Did you?
Well, they did it to us. You know, those blue states that you're talking about. You know,
they
somebody
started it. They started it. We have fucking children in charge of the most powerful nation on planet Earth, bro. Come on, give me back my frames.
Example, in Massachusetts, I got, I think, 41% of the vote. It's a very, blue state. And yet it's got 100% of Congress, 100%. So I got 41% or something. And yet 100% of Congress in Massachusetts. No, it shouldn't be that way. We should have a couple of Congress people, but we have none. And think of this, 100%. In Illinois, where you have probably the dumbest of all governors, Illinois, that guy is really the business is flowing out of his state. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing that Pritzker's doing. He was the black sheep of the family. They threw him out of the business. But in Illinois, what's happened is
wait, black sheep of the family? Bro, that's you. You were the black sheep of the family. Your dead as fuck older brother was the actual good son. You know, your older brother Fred, the one who's super fucking dead? Yeah, that one was the good son. Yeah, I know your father was also a failed fucking businessman, but bro, you are literally the black sheep of your fuck-ass family.
And you notice they go to Illinois for safety, but that's all gerrymandered. California's gerrymandered. We should have many more seats in Congress in California. It's all gerrymandered. And
so they're not even fucking high. They're not even saying, no, we're not gerrymandering. You're saying, yeah, no, we're gerrymandering, and we fucking deserve to gerrymander. We deserve to redraw your fucking districts. This is the most corrupt man who's ever had the office of the presidency, and I mean that wholeheartedly. If you disagree with me, you're wrong and a fucking idiot.
We have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
I don't know.
Oh, you're entitled to 5 more seats. No, you're entitled to suck my dick. That's what you're entitled to do, Donald Trump.
I have to check on that, and you know they expect.
Check it. Why don't you check it, Brian?
The fact checkers expect us to check everything you say on the phone.
I want you to
but
check
for 4
it. I don't say
years, those
anything
fact
to you
checkers
that's wrong.
didn't fact check anything that was said about. We don't need to relitigate that.
What? Why don't you fucking cup his balls too while you give him a twist off? You fucking piece of shit.
Not either, but
and also look at his fucking buck tooth, you hideous motherfucking cracker.
Joe, why don't you check it, okay? Because I'd like you to. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, okay?
That he's entitled.
Thank you, Brian Tyler Cohen, for that fucking clip, by the way. Make sure everybody goes and subs to Brian Tyler Cohen. But, like, I don't understand why people are surprised by this when Donald Trump is constantly trying to bend any and every poll. Look at this one.
And what we've done with the ventilators.
That's so loud.
And with the medical equipment and with testing. You know, testing is a double-edged sword. We've tested now 25 million people. It's...
Watch this.
Probably 20 million people more than anybody else. Germany's done a lot.
Dude, this is in COVID. This is when he said he was like, we actually don't have a lot of COVID, and we need to stop doing the tests. You're doing too many tests. Because if you keep doing tests, we're going to know how many fucking people have COVID. This guy, this is all he fucking does.
South Korea's done a lot. They call me, they say, the job you're doing. Here's the bad part. When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people. You're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please. They test and they test. We got tests that people don't know what's going on.
This is why I'll never forgive Trump supporters. We didn't know he was going to do this. Yes, you fucking did. You inbred redneck hick. Yes, you fucking did. And the reason why I know you did is because I fucking knew. And everybody else fucking knew. And we were screaming bloody murder before I even had a fucking microphone. You knew, and you will not be forgiven for your fucking transgressions against the American people. Look at this, bro. Now, we're going back to Trump being absolutely horrified. Trump is locking himself in the White House. He's getting the fucking tanks out. He's getting the National Guard. Soon it's going to be the Marines. He's got FBI agents. He just federalized the entire D.C. police. Trump is so fucking afraid, and his lash out is being used by the weirdest fucking people on the world. There's a 22-year-old named Big Balls, who's a former Doge employee who got jumped because he's a fucking idiot in the middle of D.C., right? He got jumped, and because of that, that's the whole reason why Trump wants to federalize D.C., or allegedly. It's a false flag operation. The plan to federalize D.C. began back during his fucking birthday party. Give me back my frames! Now we're going to watch Caroline No-Lip Cunt Levitt talk about giving Big Balls the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Given the heroic actions of a member of this administration just a few blocks from this building, will the president consider giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Big Balls?
Yeah, the heroic actions. You mean Big Balls getting jumped by 2 15-year-olds, one of which was a goddamn woman. You got your ass beat by 2 15-year-old kids. One of them's a chick. Shut the fuck up, Big Balls.
I haven't spoken to him about that, but perhaps it's something he would consider. I'll ask him and get back to you, Benny. Thanks for being here. Gabe.
Dude, I hate her fuck ugly cunt ass smile. I hate that goddamn skin suit bitch. Oh, and then another one that I wanted to point out. A couple of weeks back, or maybe it was last week, Donald Trump straight up just said some fucking eugenics stuff. Frame's bad, nothing I can do about it. Donald Trump just said some straight up eugenics ass shit where he said that Latinos are designed to do back-breaking labor and that they're incapable of breaking their backs because if they do, they'll die. Yeah.
With a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then...
Oh, real quick, Chatter says, thanks for blowing out my ears. Legit hearing ringing, listening on headphones, by the way. Good!
They're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody, these people, you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried, we've tried, everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's eugenics. That's saying that an entire race of people are predisposed to do back-breaking labor. That's eugenics. This man truly does believe in what he's saying. He believes that all of you Latinos watching this, you, Nelson, one of my mods, he believes that you were brought into this world to carry heavy things. That's it. Any other dreams or aspirations you have, fuck you and get out of the nation. That's what the President of the United States believes. Thank you, Laura, for becoming a loyalist. I mean, this shit, you couldn't write it. You couldn't write it. Now, I want to point out one other thing, which is about, like, all these fucking people say Donald Trump isn't racist. Fuck
I will say I've never seen this man say a racist thing. I think the attacks are fairly... Why is that funny, Charlamagne?
I'm just laughing. It's hysterical. But I mean, because people act like there's no such thing as Google or we don't have TV.
I will say
I've never heard Donald Trump say a racist thing. What about when he tried to get the Central Park 5 executed? 5 innocent young black men he tried to get executed. He poured millions of dollars into a campaign to get these innocent kids executed for a crime they didn't commit. Yeah, or someone in chat just goes, they're eating the dogs. About Haitians? They're eating the dogs, he said. And these dumb fuck red hat wearing dipshit crackers fucking bought it. They're eating the dogs. You stupid fucking idiots. I can't, listen, I can't. I don't have anything else for you today. It's the same shit, different story. Donald Trump is a fat fascist idiot, and his fucking inbred dick-sucking followers are gonna listen to everything he says. Yes, Daddy! Make America great again! You fucking pathetic boot-licking cuck. Boot-licking cuck. I'll give you one piece of hope here. Everybody has a role to play when it comes to dismantling a fascist regime. Now, whether that is you making a TikTok edit of Karl Marx shooting laser beams out of his eyes, or whether that's doing political commentary on YouTube, or whether that's going out in the streets and protesting, everybody has a role to play. And you cannot win a game of chess with one single piece. Every piece has to work in synchronicity. So if you think you're not doing enough, you are. You are. I'm Chris Valenti. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. If you do want to help support this channel financially, because I've never had a conversation with an advertiser or a billionaire or a government, then please feel free to donate to the channel. There's numerous ways you could do it, and every last dollar goes into putting this organization forward. Other than that, click that video over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers.